Hello there everybody, and welcome to my review of the 75411 Darth Maul Mech, which retails for an astounding $18 and has an age rating of 6+, but no one really cares about that. It includes one minifigure being Darth Maul. Now you might notice that the box is different. That is because this box is from Portugal. So I just like to thank my grandparents for picking this up for me while they were over there. So yeah, you can just see the difference with the piece count being down here compared to an American box being up here. Now, they actually just started putting the piece count on boxes overseas, so I thought that's pretty interesting. But yeah, you can just see that there's some more differences. Taking a look at the back of the box, we can see the mech not in action and just sitting there in the Mandalorian throne room, and Darth Maul and a drone. Now, taking a look at the Darth Maul minifigure, it's pretty good. The torso, hip, and leg printing is all really nice. The foot printing is pretty good. The back printing is also solid. But the one where this figure loses me is right here at the pupils. There is none. That just really sucks. But other than that, this is a great minifigure. Comparing this to the 2021 version, which feels weird because that was 4 years ago. But anyways, you can just see that it looks so much better with pupils, but I do like that the red is more vibrant on this one. But yeah, this really sucks, and they really need to put pupils back on colored eyes. He does also come with his Reb's lightsaber. This is an okay minifigure. If it wasn't for the pupils, this figure would get a 10 out of 10, but I'm gonna have to give it a 7 out of 10. You also get this drone, in which this is the only angle it looks good from, because if you turn it this way, it just looks like this, and they really skimmed out on the part so it could attach just to the back of the mech. It is pretty good if you put it on the back of the mech. And comparing it to the 2024 drone, you can just see the differences, and the 2024 one is much better, probably because that's in a bigger set meant for an older audience. But still, I mean, this one can't even sit upright. So yeah, this is an okay drone design, and is really only good if you attach it to the back of the mech. Now, taking a look at the mech, I do really like this printed piece right here. That's pretty nice, and everything is on a ball joint, except unfortunately none of these limbs are really posable other than at the top and these fingers. And it just has random tan parts on the legs. I have no idea why. Something that I find to be really funny is that they gave this mech toes. The arms look pretty nice, except something I found weird was that this is supposed to be the thumb, I think. They just used a random brick instead of like one of these pieces, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And it is a symmetrical design. Now, taking a look at the lightsaber, this is a pretty good design, although I would have made this longer just to have it to where it's able to just feel longer and feel more accurate. But this is a pretty solid lightsaber design for a mech. And I have always wanted these lightsaber pieces ever since I saw them for the first time, so definitely glad to have them now. Connecting the lightsaber is pretty simple. You just, okay, maybe it's not that simple. You just line up the Technic pins and then pull the fingers down, and boom. And this mech does have a range of posability. I do find it interesting that they gave the mech like a shirtless Darth Maul design, so it would have been cool if they included a shirtless Darth Maul in here. But putting the figure inside is pretty simple. You just pull this down, and then taking a quick look at the interior, you can see where the figure goes and just some nice little detailing in there. And then you can just take a figure, preferably Darth Maul, and do that. Now, taking a look at the back, it's pretty rudimentary, and they did just use all one piece to give it for the torso, but it's pretty cool. Now, you might notice this clip right here, and that clip is so you can have somewhere to put Darth Maul's lightsaber, and then you can just stick the drone right here. Well, you can't, yeah, like that. Now, it can look weird with the lightsaber sticking out from the back, so you can just have it like this. But this is a pretty solid mech design, and this is probably my second favorite mech from the Lego Star Wars theme, being the Luke Skywalker mech, just because I really like the idea and the creativeness of it. But this is still a great mech to start out with for the Lego Star Wars theme, even though it doesn't really make much sense in universe, but to be fair, neither do microfighters. But this is a pretty solid mech, and I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's just for the mech design. I still have one more thing to talk about here. Now, price. This set is $18 due to tariffs, which is, or at least that's an excuse. I mean, it probably is, but like Lego, I think they make enough money to where they can just bite the bullet here. $18 is just way too expensive for this set. It should have been, 15, 16 max. And that price really does hinder this set, and considering that all future mechs are most likely going to cost this much, that's definitely concerning. But this is still a pretty good mech set, and I am going to give it a 5 out of 10. This is a pretty good mech set, especially for like a Star Wars mech, but the price for $18 is way too expensive. The Darth Maul needs pupils, and I'm just not really the biggest Lego Star Wars mech fan, or just mech fan in general. I think the superhero themes need to utilize it to its better potential, and it just doesn't really work for Star Wars. These sets should really be microfighters. But still, I'm very thankful to own this set, and I'm so very glad that my grandparents went out of their way to buy this for me. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10, but it's still a pretty solid mech set. And be sure to tell me your thoughts on this set in the comment section below. And if you're new around here, please consider subscribing, because if I get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I'll do a toothpaste reveal. Even though I doubt I'll hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, since I only just hit 2,000 and we only have 2 months left. So yeah, most likely not going to happen.